Hello everyone and welcome back to the Cozy Chair. I am so glad that you are here. Today we are going to be learning about something from our learning jar. So I pulled out a new subject last week so I could learn about it and go to the library. And if you don't remember what it is that we're going to learn about, then listen to these 3 clues. Are you ready? My word of the day today is long. Okay? This animal has a long tongue. Can you think of an animal with a long tongue? Maybe an anteater? Well, let's check the second clue. It has long legs. Now, wait a minute. An anteater doesn't have long legs. So you'll have to keep thinking. What has a long tongue and long legs? And last of all, this is the easiest hint. It has a long neck. Do you know what it is? You are right. It is giraffes. Today we are going to learn about giraffes. Now, I went to the library and I read lots of books. And you know what? There was a lot of things I learned that I did not know about giraffes. So, I hope that today you will learn some fun things about giraffes. And think about some questions like, where do they live? And what do they eat? What do they do? And how do they sleep? Maybe all of these answers we'll find in these books. So, very first of all, we know that giraffes are the tallest of all the animals on the earth. So they are pretty awesome. So let's learn all about these tall animals today. Look at them out there. Let's see. Giraffes are the tallest animal on land. If they stood next to their house, they could look in a window on the 2nd floor. Giraffes are heavy too. They weigh as much as a car. Can you believe it? Even though they weigh so much, giraffes can run fast. Can you believe that? They are really fast, even though they are so tall. But I think this is interesting. This is where they live. Does anybody know what this is? Is it North America? Nope. South America? Nope. Australia? Nope. It's Africa. Giraffes live on the continent of Africa. Some giraffes live in forests there. Others live on lands covered with grass and a few trees. Oh, this one's such a silly picture. Look at that long neck and long head reaching up to eat the leaves. Giraffes eat leaves. They pull the leaves off trees with their long, strong tongues. Giraffes do not drink a lot of water. They get most of the water that they need from the leaves that they eat. Isn't that interesting? But that would make sense, right? Because if they lived in Africa, there's not a lot of big places to drink in Africa. So if they eat and they eat and they eat the leaves, that gives their body the water that they need. I thought that was super interesting. Oh, look, this is a mother with her little baby. And do you know what I learned about this? That they call a baby giraffe a calf. Just like a cow is a calf, a baby cow is a calf. Well, that's what they call a baby giraffe. Giraffes live in herds. About 10 giraffes live in each herd. Giraffes make noises like grunts and snorts and moos. This is how the giraffes in the herd talk to each other. Isn't that interesting? We think about words. Animals don't use words, do they? But they still use sounds. They can still communicate, even just like we can communicate, but they don't. They don't use words. Look at these two together. Giraffes spend most of their time eating. They do not sleep much. When they do sleep, it's only for a few minutes at a time. Giraffes usually sleep standing up. Can you believe that? Do you want to go to bed at night standing up? What if your mother said, "Get out of bed right now and stand up and go to sleep"? What would you think about that? I think that would be pretty silly because I would not want to sleep standing up. but that's exactly what the giraffes do. So that's a fun book, Amazing Animals, that I found at the library. There's also this really neat one too, and this one is The Wild World of Animals, and it's by Jill Carles. And look, I did not know that these giraffes, they can see out really far because they're so tall, but they are also a lookout animal, not only for themselves, but for other animals. So be thinking for some of the animals that they look out for so that they can keep them safe. Giraffes are the tallest animal on land. Males, that means the boy ones, stand between 15 and 18 feet tall and weigh up to 3,000 pounds. Females, that means the girls, are usually smaller, but not by much. Here comes the lookout page. There are 9 different types of giraffes. They live in open forests and tree-dotted savannas of eastern and southern Africa. Their height and excellent eyesight make them natural lookout towers. Remember I talked about that? Antelope, zebra, ostriches, and other animals often rely on giraffes to warn them of approaching predators. Do you know what a predator is? A predator is an animal that eats another animal. Okay, so if there's a lion coming, then the giraffes, remember with their sounds, they can warn the other animals that danger is upon them. Did you know that no 2 giraffes look alike? We think, oh, that's a giraffe because it has spots and it's tan and brown and they all look the same. But did you know they don't all look the same? Just like our fingerprints. Everybody's fingerprints are different. Well, the pattern of brownish blotches on a giraffe's short, dense fur is as unique as a human fingerprint, but general patterns appear regularly and can be used to identify the region in which the giraffe lives. I thought that that was very interesting. Just by looking at his pattern, we can see what part of the forest it lives in. This is really cool. The giraffe's most outstanding feature is its neck. Just 7 vertebrae support it. Now listen to this. We have something in common with the giraffe. Humans have 7 vertebrae too, but the giraffe's neck bones are much larger. Inside the giraffe's long neck, a special system of blood vessels controls the flow of blood to and from the head. Without this system, a giraffe would faint every time it raised or lowered its head. So in this really long neck, it has 7 vertebrae. Just like in us, we have 7 vertebrae that help us to stand up straight and tall. Oh, look at that. Wouldn't it be so hard to drink water if you had those long legs? They have to spread them really, really wide to get down to that water to drink. Let's see what else we can learn about these fabulous animals. I just wanted you to see this page because it looks so interesting. This page tells us about life as a giraffe. Giraffes sleep very little, and when they do, it's just for a few minutes at a time. We read that already. They spend most of the day eating. Giraffes are browsers, which means they eat leaves from trees or bushes. They grab the leaves with their long, tough upper lip and their muscular tongue. Do you know what that means when I say muscular tongue? It means that their tongue is a huge muscle. And let me tell you, this one day, I went to the zoo and I actually got to feed a giraffe. And it was super awesome and really, really interesting because that giraffe I held the branch that was covered with leaves and he wrapped his tongue around it like a spiral and he pulled all the leaves off and I had to hold the branch super, super strong because his tongue was like a giant muscle. It was really interesting. If you live by a zoo, you should go try to feed the giraffes because it's really cool. Okay, in both of these books, I found a really cool story. This one is it's called a Giraffe Story from Africa. Why do giraffes have such long necks? People in Africa used to tell a story about this. They said that the giraffe once looked like a deer and ate grass. One year the grass dried up. The giraffe wanted to eat leaves on the tall trees. He asked the magic man to make him tall. The man made the giraffe's neck and legs grow very long. Then the giraffe could eat all the leaves he wanted. That is a story from way back in Africa about why the giraffe has such a long neck and long legs. I'll let you decide if you think that's true. Another interesting thing is in Egypt. The ancient Egyptians mistakenly believed that the giraffe was a cross between a camel and a leopard. Isn't that silly? I just think that's silly, but if you think about it, it's kind of true, right? Because camels have the same color and their mouths are the same. Like, look at this one. See, his mouth is kind of like a camel, but his colors are also like a leopard. You know how a leopard has spots? So they called it a camel leopard, a name that has followed the giraffe to the present day in its scientific name. All animals have names that we know, like giraffe, lion, tiger, but they also have scientific names. And the scientific name for giraffe is Giraffe camelopardalis. Isn't that funny? It's like camel and leopard put together. Giraffe camelopardalis. I think that is pretty silly. Well, last of all, I want to read you this very short book called Meet the Giraffe. And this book is by Susanna Keller. Have you ever seen giraffes at a zoo? These tall animals are fun to look at. Though you can see giraffes in zoos, these animals come from Africa's savannas. Giraffes have 2 furry horns. Some giraffes also have bumps on their heads. I think this is a really interesting picture. We haven't learned about these horns and a bump. If I would have told you that we were going to read stories today about an animal with horns, would you have thought about a giraffe? I don't think so. That would have been a tricky thing. Giraffes' coats have patterns. Each giraffe's coat has a different pattern. Remember, we learned that, just like a fingerprint. Giraffes are the world's tallest animals. They may be up to 18 feet tall. Giraffes eat leaves. They use their long tongues to pull leaves into their mouths. See that tongue? When I saw that tongue at the zoo, it was really bumpy. It was not slick like our tongues are. It was really bumpy. That's probably how it grasps all those leaves off. Wild giraffes feed on tall trees. Zoos often put giraffes' food in high baskets. That makes sense, doesn't it? Because they want to eat the same way they would eat out in the wild. While adult giraffes eat leaves, babies drink their mother's milk. Baby giraffes are called calves. Giraffes are peaceful animals. They almost always get along well with other giraffes. Since giraffes are so friendly, some zoos will even let you pet or feed them. Wasn't that an interesting book? Well, I hope that you had a really fun day today learning about these interesting animals, the giraffes. I'm so glad for all of you that have sent me what you want to learn about. And today we're going to pull out a new card. I'm going to pop the top and pull one out. Bears! Do you want to learn about bears? Okay, you got to come back next week. In fact, next week is a very special day. There's having an event called Read Across America. So on March 4th, I think it's March 4th, we're going to have a special show here on the Cozy Chair. It won't be about bears. It will be a fun reading things and ideas. So come for Read Across America, and then after that, we are going to learn about bears. In fact, I have this super, super funny book. It is called Bear Bloopers. It is full of true stories about bears. When I went to Jackson Hole, up to the Tetons, then I found all of these bear books, and they were super funny to read. So I hope that you'll come back. Thanks so much for coming, and I will see you next time. See you later.